basketball courts in Queens are always busy, but in the summer of 2016, they were home to some of New York City's most legendary streetball games, thanks in large part to Hamidou Diallo. Fresh off a big summer on the EYBL circuit, a gold medal run in the FIBA Under-18 World Cup, and several prestigious basketball camps, Diallo returned home to his neighborhood of Lafrac City as a celebrity, one of the nation's top recruits with offers from all the Blue Bloods. Wherever Diallo went, he drew a crowd, earning the nickname King of New York. At Alamo Day, he threw down a windmill dunk that prompted fans to storm the court and shut down the game. When he tossed his jersey into the crowd, kids fought over it. At the Unlimited NYC Nike event a few weeks later, he scored 47 points, each dunk punctuated by an ooh from fans in the bleachers surrounding Kingdome Court. Diallo was a rock star, and when he pulled up to the Lincoln Park Classic in South Ozone Park in Queens, a 12-year-old Mohamed Dioubate had a front row seat to the show.
In the whole park, it was just flooded. Like, everyone was waiting for that game. You had a few NBA guys there, and it was a good game. We seen windmills, all kinds of dunks, a lot of trash talking. It was just very high intensity. Once I seen it, I'm like, this the level I want to be at, you know what I'm saying? This is the stage I want to play in.
To this day, Diallo's performance at Lincoln Park in 2016 is the craziest thing Dioubate has seen in a New York City streetball game. Little did he know it would set him down the same path as Diallo, from Queens to Putnam Science Academy in Connecticut and now Kentucky. After a detour to Alabama, that last leg came with an assist from the King of New York himself, who played a key role in guiding Dioubate to Lexington.
Throughout his whole journey, once the opportunity presented itself that Kentucky wanted him, I feel like my time there and him seeing how the process went with me pretty much was a no-brainer for him. So,
Maury Dioubate worked tirelessly to bring his family from Africa to America. He came to New York from Guinea, and as he earned more money, he brought Mo's stepmother, his siblings, and eventually his mother, Fatimata, to join him. Now, Mo's extended family of 13 lives in New York or elsewhere in the States, a testament to his father's determination. Dioubate loved growing up in Queens. To an outsider, the New York borough may seem rough, and there were hard times, but Dioubate said he couldn't ask for anything better as a kid, spending his days outside in the park, riding bikes with his friends, and playing sports. For him, that was soccer, his first love. Dioubate played soccer until he was 10 or 11, attributing some of his trademark toughness and physicality to the beautiful game.
Because people don't understand soccer is actually an aggressive sport. Like, if your foot is not like strong enough, or if like you're not physical, it's like don't even try to play it.
Dioubate traded his cleats for sneakers. In 8th grade, he joined NYC Finest Basketball Academy, an AAU program run by Rob Diaz, a New York City detective who serves as a mentor to several basketball players in Queens, including Hamidou Diallo. Dioubate was raw, but Diaz saw potential.
He was kind of long and lengthy. When I seen him in 8th grade, he was just, it was like came naturally to him. I thought he could be a kid that could have potential to get better. I didn't think at the time with him or Hami that they would be at this level, but I certainly, gave the time and committed myself to trying to make them the best player and in person outside of the court that they could possibly be.
When Diallo finally took the floor for the Cats in the 2017-18 season, he had a huge cheering section back in Queens wearing Kentucky blue. Dioubate was among them.
I always kind of like Kentucky because Kentucky's is blue. Blue's my favorite color. So right around the time I started watching college basketball, that just happened to be the team that I started to watch. And when he went there, it was just like no-brainer. All my friends, everyone was Kentucky fans.
While Diallo reached new heights at Kentucky and in the NBA, Dioubate worked on his game. Like Diallo, he attended John Bone High School, where Diaz was an assistant coach, before making the move to Putnam Science Academy in 2021. Diaz challenged Dioubate by playing him up in age group. It worked.
I wanted to be better. Like, I never wanted to settle for less. I always try to be as best as I can. Like, I'm a competitive guy. I felt like I was able to compete with those guys that were in varsity. And I feel like, playing JV, at that level wasn't gonna help me.
In 2019, the summer before Diobate's sophomore year of high school, Diallo returned to Queens to host Hami Day, a free basketball camp for kids in Queens. Dioubate got to play in one of the All-Star games at Hamidou and stayed around afterwards to help Diallo clean up.
Just told me, like, just play through adversity. You know, you got to separate yourself from others. Like, you got to sacrifice a lot. There's a lot of sacrifice. You know, we come from a big city. We got a lot of people behind us. There's a lot of sacrifices you got to take. You got to miss out on some parties or some fun. You know, certain things, you got to stay in the gym always.
That mirrored the advice that Dioubate received from Diaz, who warned him he may lose friends along the way.
Because at the end of the day, he's still a young kid. They're still going to be fragile to all the distractions that come, around your neighborhood, especially in New York City.
Seeing Diallo in the NBA and Diarra thriving at Putnam Science Academy made it that much easier for Dioubate to trust the process.
Now you have a player that's been through the same steps that you've been through, and pretty much almost mirror the exact same steps from the same mentor to the same high school to the same prep school, all the way to now. So it made it easier for him because he's seen Hami kind of go through all of that and where he got. It made it easier for him also to believe in the person that was already there and understand that this formula works.
Even back then, Diabate's calling card was defense. However, his breakthrough moment came on the other end of the court. In one of the park tournaments, Dioubate hit a buzzer-beater layup to win the game. He was the youngest person on the team.
I remember after that game, all my teammates, they were just hugging me. And I was the youngest on the team that time. And, it was a very intense game, and I just happened to make the buzzer-beater layup. So that was one of the moments I feel like I got some of their respect.
If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere, right? Dioubate took that confidence with him to Connecticut, where he spent his final 2 seasons of high school at Putnam Science Academy, just like Diallo. Dioubate transferred in midway through his junior season, in which PSA went undefeated, winning the Prep School National Championship. In his senior season, he led them back to the title, averaging 14.4 points and 9.6 rebounds per game. In his final week of high school basketball, Dioubate was named MVP of the national tournament, Power 5 Conference Player of the Year, and New England Player of the Year. He also became PSA's all-time leading rebounder and the 4th player in school history with 1,000 career points. On the EYBL circuit, Dioubate was a first-team selection in 2022 and led the league in inside execution, scoring the most points around the rim. A top 100 4-star recruit, Dioubate earned offers from several major Division I programs, mostly in the Northeast. He chose to take his talent south to Alabama. It wasn't quite Kentucky, but with the Crimson Tide, Dioubate reached the Final Four as a freshman and the Elite Eight as a sophomore. In his freshman year, he scored 9 of Alabama's final 15 points in the win over Grand Canyon in the second round of the NCAA tournament, a performance made even more impressive by the fact that he was fasting for Ramadan. Dioubate thrived as Alabama's 6th man, but left the season wanting more. Once the Crimson Tide lost to Duke in the Elite Eight, he talked with Diaz and Diallo. It was time for a change. He entered the transfer portal on April 4th with plenty of suitors lining up.
So I seen the development, I seen the motor, and he just needed some retooling, and he's been doing that. I mean, he had a great years at Alabama. We felt like he was ready to make a move.
Kentucky was among the first to reach out, the 3 losses to Alabama fresh on Mark Pope's mind. Dioubate has said on many occasions that Kentucky was his dream school growing up. As part of the reason why, Diallo's heart leapt at the possibility of Dioubate in blue.
There's nothing better than Kentucky from a college standpoint. My time there was phenomenal. I was with the great Coach Cal, and the fans, the love, the excitement, and it's being a professional before you're a professional. And that excitement and feel is never going to go anywhere. For Mo, I mean, I feel like it's something that he wanted to experience playing at that level. I mean, you're playing for one of the greatest schools of all time there. So every game is sold out, every game matters, and you're on the biggest stage. So what better place to prove yourself than on the biggest stage in the world?
The 2 sides set up as one. Some of Pope's recruiting calls have been known to last for hours, but Diobate's was shorter, just an hour. In this case, that was a good thing.
He was straightforward. We played him 3 times this year. Some of the things that he said he needed, I seen in their team throughout the year. Even when we played against them, I seen some of the things that they were lacking as well. And, the way he approached me, it's like I was thinking the same thing.
Both sides knew what Dioubate brings as a defender, the physicality and tenacity Kentucky lacked at times last season, but Dioubate especially liked Pope's plan for him on offense. Dioubate averaged 7.2 points and 1.1 assists as a sophomore, shooting 61.7% from the field and 46.2% from outside the arc, albeit on just 26 attempts. Pope wants the ball in Diobate's hands more often, even as a facilitator.
I think that going into Kentucky, in the conversations that we had and he had, he saw exactly kind of like what he always wanted, is to be utilized more as a point forward and being able to kind of be more creative because he's able to.
Diallo may have played at Kentucky under John Calipari, but he knows the stage and sees Pope's vision for Dioubate.
I love his system. It's a fast-paced system. A lot of guys are involved in the offense. And I feel like it just fits Mo. Mo's a plug-and-fit guy. I feel like any team that he plays on, he brings value because he's a guy that I feel like can disrupt the game without needing the ball, without needing offense. I mean, he's just a stat sheet filler is what we call it.
He liked the playing style. He seen me playing well in this system. He's seen the opportunity that I have. That's something I always wanted. He understood that, and he didn't make my decision for me. He just gave me good advice.
Dioubate committed to Kentucky on April 7th, just 3 days after entering the transfer portal.
It just seemed right, and so it wasn't much to talk about. I didn't want to waste any time. I didn't want to waste any other coach's time, and I just wanted to be straightforward. And it didn't take me that long to, it took about like 2 phone calls for me to make my mind up. And I just felt like it was the right decision.
Further affirmation of Diobate's decision came in the weeks after. Because of the frenzied transfer portal recruiting process, Dioubate didn't take his official visit to Kentucky until after he committed. He brought his father Maury along with him.
It was incredible to watch him with his dad here. Like, it was really special to actually watch him take care of his dad while he was here. So I love every bit of him there. The more I talked to him on the phone, the more I fell in love with his human being. He's really special that way.
A few weeks later, Pope made a point to get some FaceTime with the rest of Mo's family. While in New York with his wife and daughters, Pope called Dioubate and asked if it would be okay if they visited him and his mother.
It's amazing. I was actually shocked. Like once he told me that he was coming to my mother's house, or he asked to come, I was actually shocked because, where I live at in New York, my mother, she lived in the Bronx, so it's not the best neighborhood. So I didn't think he was gonna come with his wife and kids. I wasn't expecting that, but once he did that, I was like, wow, he's down to earth guy.
The visit was so impromptu that Diobate's mother, Fatimata, didn't have time to prepare any food, but she and his brothers quickly got the house together in anticipation.
My mom was happy. She was like, he's really coming? I'm like, all right, yeah. She's like, all right, And she was happy to see him. My little brothers, they were happy to see him. My whole family was excited to see him. Yeah,
that's very cool. It was good. They weren't the only ones. When Dioubate met Pope at the front door of the apartment complex, the security guard was starstruck.
We actually walked in. He came down and met us outside the building. We walked in and security was right there. And the kind of lead security guard was losing his mind. He's like, Coach Pope. He's like, I'm a diehard Kentucky,
Back upstairs, Diaz was waiting with the family. Even as someone who has spent many a night around many a kitchen table with players and coaches, he knew this visit was special.
It was amazing, actually, to be honest. One thing that came across to me is how genuine he and his family were, and how comfortable they seemed to be and even in the neighborhood. They weren't in the Bronx, and just enjoyed the time that they were there. They were very genuine and caring. Made a really good connection, not only with Mo and myself, but I think with his entire family. Mo is very close with his mom, so for him, I'm sure it meant even more.
It did. This was the first time a college coach had visited Dioubate in his home.
I was kind of shocked that he came. I never had a home visit before from any coach, so that made me respect him even more.
Hearing Dioubate describe the visit made Diallo flash back to his own experiences.
It means a lot for us. I mean, coming from where we come from, when somebody wants to spend a day with you and come see how you're living and come greet your parents, I mean, it means the world. And that's the similar thing that was done for me when I was being recruited for college. So I get that feeling on how that felt for him. I mean, it's a touching moment when you can make a connection with a coach in your home that you grew up in, that you're trying to move your family out of. I mean, it's no better feeling.
Dioubate and the rest of his teammates arrived in Lexington the first week of June for summer workouts. Although he was one of 6 incoming transfers, he didn't hesitate to step up as a leader. He knew firsthand what Pope's first Kentucky team lacked and what he could do to fix it.
I can't wait. Like I try to get the guys going every practice. You know, to try to play as hard as I do, or at least match the intensity. You know, like I feel like that's something that we could be really good at this year, like defense. You know, I feel like the defensive energy, it could be contagious.
Dioubate isn't the only defensive stopper on this squad. Jaden Quaintance transferred to Kentucky from Arizona State as a Big 12 all-defensive team selection. Cam Williams averaged 1.4 steals and 1.1 blocks per game at Tulane and led Kentucky in defensive impact metric this summer per Pope. Even Oweh and Aberdeen flashed on defense at times last season. With that roster makeup, Dioubate believes Kentucky can be one of the best defensive teams in the country.
I think with the squad we have, like, we're able to do it. If we don't do it, we're doing a disservice to ourselves. Like, you know, because we have all the tools, all the intangibles to do it. So I'm just trying to be a leader, try to play my part, you know, with that, because I know that's something I'm really good at.
Being a leader means that you're not always popular. In June, Dioubate told reporters that part of leadership is making someone uncomfortable by telling them the truth. He's done that a few times so far, especially with the freshmen.
I got on one of them, you know, because like he kept making the same mistakes, but it wasn't to, you know, it wasn't to make him feel bad about himself. It was just to try to help him and correct him. Yeah, I got on him, you know, just like how any leader would or any older guy would, you know, because he's still learning. So, you know, I told him, like, yo, pick it up, like, pick it up. You know, I didn't say it like that. I said it, you know, more intense, but, you know, I tried to tell him, you know, pick up the energy, stop walking around.
Another sign Dioubate and Pope are on the same page. Dioubate has started sharing motivational quotes with the team each week, which are then posted on Kentucky's social media accounts. The first Motivational Monday quote came on the first day of fall practice. The road is long, but every stone that you pass is proof that you're moving forward. That positive approach is further proof to Diaz of a perfect pairing.
Today's motivational quote is, the climb to the top is going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of adversity. It's going to be a lot of hardships, a lot of times when you feel like quitting. But ultimately, remember that the view is going to be worth it. So don't give up. Stay persistent. Stay motivated to the top. Let's go.
Pope is going to be a guy that's going to be able to get Mo to kind of play in a way that he never did before, that maybe a lot of people didn't see, but I know about, and Coach believes he's seen it. He understands what he brings to the table. So I think that it's going to be a fun year. You know, a lot of people are probably going to see Mo at a totally different level. It's going to be fun for, you know, the BBN nation, but also for the team and coach to bring something to the table that probably a lot of people didn't see, but that it was always there.
Seeing how quickly Dioubate has taken to his new surroundings also showed Diaz that he won't waste this opportunity.
Man, I tell you, he's probably one of the most genuine and caring kids and honest kids that I've ever coached. Hard working, that's what you're going to get. One of the hardest working guys in the business. Genuine, caring. What you see is what you get. He's not playing the second role.
Dioubate and Diallo reconnected this summer in Queens, training together when Kentucky was on break and before Diallo left for Spain to play for Baskonia in the EuroLeague. As you might imagine, Kentucky came up a lot during those sessions.
You know, I feel like Mo, he's just scratching the surface, and he has so much room for improvement. And I feel like with the staff at Kentucky, they're honed in on that. Mark Pope is very into his development and feels like he has a chance as well. So
Diallo's biggest advice for Dioubate had nothing to do with his game. It had to do with the spotlight that comes with being a Kentucky basketball player.
Yeah, he told me, don't take it for granted. Like, you know, the time that I'm here, like, try to get everything out of it as I can. You know, setting examples. You know, try to do something where you're going to be remembered forever. You know, just be good to the people. They're going to be good to you as well.
I told him just be prepared for that. Big Blue Nation, there's nothing like it. So once a cat, always a cat too. So I think that legacy and that alumni base is something that he really wanted to be a part of. And I tell people that all the time. I miss Kentucky so much. I mean, my 2 years at Kentucky taught me so much about just how to be a man. Just playing at Kentucky and playing with those bright lights at such a young age just prepared me for the things that I'm doing now.
The full Kentucky experience is about to get underway for Dioubate. So far, the reality is living up to the dream.
I love it. I can't wait for the season though. That's something I've been waiting for this whole time we've been here. Obviously, the process of the anticipation makes it even more fun. But the lifestyle been good. Get a lot of respect, a lot of love from the fans and the people in the community. Yeah, it's been good, man. I'm messing with it. I like it.
There's no other school on the planet that's like Kentucky. I mean, when I say it, people take it lightly. He took it lightly a little bit, and now he's starting to feel the love and starting to feel what Kentucky is all about.
The game Dioubate is looking forward to the most is actually in New York City. The matchup versus Michigan State in the Champions Classic.
It's my first time playing in New York in my college career. Yeah, I have no choice but to be excited. I asked for this even when I was at Alabama. I asked my coach if he could schedule a game in New York, but he wasn't able to. But I'm glad to have the opportunity where I could play in New York now. I have a lot of people that have been waiting on me to come back home so they could watch me. All my fans, family, supporters, that weren't able to make it to Tuscaloosa to watch any of the games. They have the opportunity to watch me now. The people that have been watching me since I was a kid, that's all they asked me for, just to watch me play. I can't wait for it, man. Y'all better be there, man. Tune in. It's gonna be a movie that day.
Diallo will be watching from Spain, the roles reversed. 9 years after Dioubate marveled at Diallo's antics at Lincoln Park, Diallo will be on the edge of his seat to see what his little brother does under the spotlight at the world's most famous arena.
He's a guy that's going to leave it on the court every night. I mean, and for any organization or team, that's the kind of guy you want to go to war with every night. So I'll be watching. I'll be in tune like always, like every year. So it's just be like my little brother playing this year. So I'll be watching extra closely.